Good afternoon. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Trump directs Pentagon to use all available funds to pay military by October 15th, slams Democrats for holding national security hostage. 8 trucks bound to Gaza move from Rafah border. Israeli hostages to be freed before peace summit in Egypt to be chaired by Trump and El-Sisi. Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand to visit India on Sunday. Trade, security and energy on agenda. And in ICC Women's World Cup, host India to face 7-time champions Australia in Visakhapatnam. US President Donald Trump announced on Saturday he has directed the Pentagon to use all available funds to ensure US military personnel are paid by October 15th. Amid a partial government shutdown, Trump slammed Democrats for holding national security hostage over budget negotiations, accusing them of endangering troops. Trump instructed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to shift about $8 billion from other accounts to cover the payroll, bypassing the Congress. This follows failed talks on funding bills, with essential services continuing, but many federal workers furloughed. No immediate response from the White House press office, but Pentagon officials confirmed preparations to execute the order. Legal experts are debating the move as the shutdown persists into its second week. A non-essential government work in the US stopped after September 30th deadline for Congress to pass a new funding bill, with Senate Democrats repeatedly blocking a Republican resolution to reopen federal agencies since then. Republicans are proposing an extension of the current budget with the same spending levels, while Democrats are calling for an extension of subsidies for health insurance for the low-income households. Several Democratic votes are required to pass a budget despite the Republican majority. But Trump has rejected any negotiations with the opposition on health issues without reopening the federal government as prerequisite. Let's turn to updates from West Asia. Thousands of Gazans streamed north along the coast on Saturday, back to their abandoned homes as the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas entered into second day. A steady stream of people, vast majority on foot, crammed onto a coast road in central Gaza, heading north to see what might remain of their homes. It was a repeat of emotional scenes from an earlier ceasefire in January. Others headed to different parts of the Gaza in the south. US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi will chair an international summit to discuss Trump's proposal to end the Gaza conflict in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. The meeting will involve leaders from more than 20 countries, including French President Macron, UK Prime Minister Starmer. Prime Ministers of Italy and Spain will also attend the summit. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has also confirmed his attendance. The Egyptian presidency, in a statement, said the meeting will aim to end the Gaza conflict, enhance efforts to achieve peace and stability in West Asia, and usher in a new era of regional security and stability. Meanwhile, Hamas said it will begin releasing Israeli hostages before Trump chairs an international summit in Egypt on its peace plan for the region. As part of the deal's first phase, Hamas will free the captives, 20 of whom Israel believes are still alive, in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Meanwhile, 8 trucks bound for Gaza were seen crossing from Egypt's side of the Rafah border, crossing early on Sunday following newly implemented ceasefire agreement. According to ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, humanitarian aid will be ramped up into Gaza and permitted to travel freely between North and South Gaza on the 2 main roads. Hundreds of trucks per day are expected to surge into Gaza carrying food and medical aid. According to an Israeli security official, the trucks will carry mostly food, medical equipment, shelter equipment, fuel and cooking gas. Equipment needed to fix damaged infrastructure such as water lines, sewage and bakeries will also be allowed in. Meanwhile, hundreds and thousands of people attended a rally in Tel Aviv ahead of the expected release of Israeli hostages by Hamas. Participants expressed hope that it would be the last rally of its kind, as everyone hopes that the hostages will return as provided in the agreement to end the Gaza conflict, despite the remaining gaps in the following stages of the talks. Addressing the crowds, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said the hostages are coming home. He praised Donald Trump for making Gaza ceasefire and hostage return deal possible.
We all owe a debt of deep gratitude to President Trump. In the worst of times, he refused to accept the idea that peace in the Mideast was out of reach. He brought together nations once divided, by generations of conflict and showed us that shared peace is stronger than shared pain. History will remember that when others doubted, President Trump believed.
For 2 years, we are waiting for this day, for this moment. It's very, very exciting us. All of us feel happy for the family, for the hostages. That's finally, we hope, finally we will see all of them earlier as possible. And we think that without the President Trump, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen.
Wow, it's unbelievable. Like this moment should have been 2 years and a few days ago. Like it never should have happened, but if it happened, we should have released all our hostages, just a normal people like me. I think about my children, my 2 sons, and it's a situation that we had to bring everyone home 2 years ago, but it's better 2 years later than never, and it's such a special moment for us to have everyone home.
U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner visited Gaza on Saturday as post-conflict planning ramped up. Witkoff and Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, who helped negotiate the agreement, were taken on a tour of Gaza by Israeli military, along with Admiral Brad Cooper, the top U.S. commander in the region. They later stopped at an Israeli military base where preparations were being made to receive the hostages, held talks on the military situation in Gaza with commanders as part of a ceasefire deal that is bringing an end to 2 years of conflict. Gazans are awaiting a surge of humanitarian aid. Israel is preparing for handover of around 20 living hostages held by Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Sheba Medical Center in Ramat Gan on Saturday. Israeli Prime Minister's office, in a social media post, stated Netanyahu visited the medical facility in order to review preparations for receiving the hostages from Gaza after they return to Israel on Monday. Netanyahu, along with several top officials toward the facility, praised the medical teams for their readiness to welcome the hostages and their families. And U.S. President Donald Trump is set to arrive in Israel on Monday morning. During his visit, Trump will hold a meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The tightly scheduled visit also includes a private meeting with families of hostages at the Knesset, followed by a public address to Israeli lawmakers. In other news, Russian air defenses units destroyed 32 Ukrainian drones overnight into Sunday over regions including Moscow, Bryansk and Kursk, according to TASS, citing the Russian Defense Ministry. The operation reported this morning involved Pantsir S, S-400 systems with no casualties or significant damage noted. This follows a surge in drone attacks amid escalating tensions with Ukraine targeting Russian oil refineries. prompting retaliatory strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Ukrainian officials have not commented, but NATO allies, including Poland, have scrambled jets in response. No further incidents have been reported, although analysts warn of intensified aerial warfare as the winter approaches. Opposition leader from United Seychelles, Patrick Khamenei, has won the Seychelles presidential runoff, securing 52.7% of the votes on Sunday. He won the race against incumbent Vevel Ramkalawan's 47.3% as Electoral Commission Seychelles official results. The race, following no majority in the September 27th first round, centered on climate vulnerability, rising sea levels, economic pressures, and a heroin crisis affecting up to 10% of the 120,000 population. Khamenei pledged to slash living costs, bolster public service, combat drug addiction, and cancel a controversial 70-year Qatari lease on Assumption Island near Al-Adra UNESCO site, citing sovereignty interference. And Prime Minister Modi has extended congratulatory wishes to the newly elected Seychelles president. Posting from his social media account, he says, and I quote, "Heartiest congratulations to Dr. Patrick Khamenei on his victory in the presidential elections in Seychelles. The waters of the Indian Ocean are our shared heritage and nourish the aspirations and needs of our people. I'm confident our time-tested and multifaceted relations will deepen and gain further momentum in his tenure as president. My best wishes to him for the tenure ahead." Taliban forces in Afghanistan launched retaliatory strikes against Pakistani border posts on Saturday, accusing Islamabad of sovereignty-violating airstrikes on Kabul and southeastern regions on October 9th. Heavy clashes erupted in Kunar, Nangrar, Paktia, Khost and Helmand provinces, involving artillery and drones. The Taliban Defense Ministry declared the operation successful and concluded at midnight, but warned of firm responses to future incursions. Pakistani officials reported repelling unprovoked attacks, destroying several Afghan posts and inflicting dozens of casualties. Multiple soldiers were killed in firefights, escalating tensions amid mutual accusations over harboring Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists. Iran urged restraint as TTP claimed separate attacks, killing 23 in northwest Pakistan. The Bangladesh Army has detained 15 officers over allegations of crimes against humanity. The move follows arrest warrants issued by International Crimes Tribunal. 15 Army officers, including 14 still in service, were taken into custody after International Crime Tribunal issued warrants for 30 individuals in 2 separate cases in their alleged role in enforced disappearances and torture. One senior officer remains unaccounted for. The Army says it is committed to justice and awaits the official charge sheet to decide further action. China and Philippines traded blame over boat collision in South China Sea on Sunday. Philippines says a Chinese Coast Guard ship fired its water cannon at a vessel belonging to Manila's Fishery Bureau on Sunday morning. The incident took place near Titu Island, part of the Spratly Island, where Beijing has sought to assert its sovereignty claims for years, while China's Coast Guard says the incident occurred after a Philippine vessel entered waters near the Sandy Cay, ignored repeated stern warnings from the Chinese side, and dangerously approached the Chinese ship. Confrontations between Philippine and Chinese vessels occur frequently in the contested waterway, which Beijing claims nearly in its entirety, despite an international ruling that its assertion has no legal basis. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Historic exposition of Buddha's sacred relics from India begins in Russia's Kalmykia Republic on Saturday. 20th edition of Delhi Half Marathon at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium this morning. What makes Nobel Prize Economics unique? It will be announced on Monday.
Construction isn't just about steel and concrete. It can also be about restoring a hillside or creating homes that can protect both us and our planet.
This wattle and daub technique is called skin and bone of a structure. So here we have used bamboos cut into strips and weaved together made as a panel. In that gap we fill it with mud and make it as a skin for it.
The trucks would just come by, dump the illegal waste and leave. Then we got some people to help and our Anand One urban forest team came into existence. Together we must have cleared about 30 to 40 tons of garbage out of this place.
One of the reasons for this structure that we have created here is to try and see if we can halt or reduce the rate of erosion. This is like a natural embankment for the forest land.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Canada Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is set to embark on a diplomatic visit to India on Sunday. During her visit to India, Anand will hold meetings with External Affairs Minister S. Shankar and Commerce Industry Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi. Discussions will focus on advancing a framework for strategic cooperation encompassing trade diversification, energy transformation and security issues. In addition to Delhi, Anand will travel to Mumbai to engage with Canadian and Indian businesses, fostering investment, job creation, economic opportunities in both Canada and India. Historic exposition of Buddha's sacred relics from India begins in Russia's Kalmykia Republic on Saturday. The relics from New Delhi's National Museum were transported via Indian Air Force aircraft with a delegation led by Uttar Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya. Thousands of devotees welcomed them in Elista, marking first for the region. Organized by India's Ministry of Culture and International Buddhist Confederation, the 8-day event at Gidan Shedab Chorkoling Monastery includes blessings, teachings by Sakya Tirzain Rinpoche, MOU signing, holy text presentation and exhibitions on Buddhist art and relics history. In a landmark push to India's agriculture and allied sectors, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana in New Delhi on Saturday. It reaffirms government's commitment to agricultural growth, rural development and farmer welfare. Prime Minister Modi interacted with farmers engaged with pulses cultivation who've directly benefited from various government schemes. He participated in a special agriculture program at Indian Agriculture Research Institute. The schemes aid to enhance agricultural productivity, promote crop diversification, boost post-harvest storage infrastructure and improve access to credit in 100 selected districts. The farmers, brimming with hope, expressed gratitude to Prime Minister by calling the initiatives a great step that paves the way towards greater future for Indian agriculture. The International Union for Conservation of Nature's World Commission on Protected Areas honoured 13 rangers from 13 countries with 2025 International Ranger Awards in Abu Dhabi on Sunday. India's Minister for State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Kirti Vardhan Singh, called them the unsung heroes who face dangers from poachers and wild animals every day. The award winners received grants to support conservation efforts in their regions. Singh also released the report Guardians of the Wild, highlighting the sacrifices and challenges faced by these frontline conservation workers. Investment in ocean conservation is growing as blue economy gains importance in tackling climate change, biodiversity loss and economic challenges. At the International Union for Conservation of Nature's World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi, global leaders stressed on the need for long-term funding to support regenerative marine businesses. Ocean issues, once overlooked, are now central at global forums, driven by new technologies and entrepreneurship. Despite progress, ocean-related sustainable development goals remain underfunded, highlighting the need for science-based policies and business-led solutions. Cynthia Barzuna of World Resources Institute called the ocean a key ally in climate action and talked about ocean conservation.
So we need to scale up investment in the ocean. We also need to understand how to best have conservation practices that are effective. And we also need to understand how to sustainably manage the ocean. Together, these 18 world leaders that make 50% of the world's coastlines decided to sustainably manage waters under national jurisdiction through sustainable ocean plans. I really hope that the Indian Ocean is also part of this. The movement has started. The quest is out there from the 100% Alliance, led by Chile and Australia, asking countries to join in this ambition to sustainably manage waters under national jurisdiction.
And in sports, action in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 continues to heat up as host India take on Australia in Visakhapatnam on Sunday. Led by Harmanpreet Kaur, India will be eager to bounce back after suffering their first loss of the campaign against South Africa. Despite the setback, the women in blue remain in strong position, sitting third on the points table with 2 wins from 3 matches. Here's more.
Yet another thrilling weekend is here with a lot of cricketing action as the Indian women are all set to take on the mighty Australian side at the ongoing ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. The league stage match will take place at the ACA VDCA Stadium in Visakhapatnam, where Team India recently faced South Africa. In this particular tournament, Team India comes at the back of 2 victories, one against Sri Lanka and the other against Pakistan. However, Team India lost to South Africa in their third league stage encounter. On the other hand, Australia have registered heavy victories against New Zealand and Pakistan and a washout against Sri Lanka. The head-to-head favours the Australians in the ODI format, where Australia won 48 matches out of 59. However, before their World Cup outing, Team India beat Australia in the second ODI at New Chandigarh. Kranti Gaur took crucial wickets in the winning match of the second ODI between India and Australia. Not only this, Smriti Mandhana hit 2 consecutive centuries as well in the recently concluded ODI series against the Aussies.
हम लोग भी एकदम पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट से जा रहे हैं और हम लोगों ने पास्ट में भी उन लोगों के साथ मैचेस खेले हैं और उनको हराया भी है, तो मतलब कोशिश यही रहेगी कि हम लोग अपना बेस्ट दें. वी हैव बीन प्लानिंग रियली वेल और सब लोग क्लियर हैं अपने माइंड में और क्या करना है सबको क्लैरिटी है. हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया का स्टाइल बहुत टाइम से देखा है कि वो एग्रेसिव ही आते हैं, बट ऑन द अदर हैंड हमारे प्लान्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर हैं और जो भी हम लोग मीटिंग्स में बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोगों ने डिस्कशंस किए हैं, कुछ प्लानिंग्स करी हैं एंड लेट्स होप कि हम लोग पॉजिटिव स्टार्ट दें.
Talking about the pitch report, this is the same surface where India faced South Africa. The pitch surface at the ACA VDCA Stadium in Visakhapatnam is expected to be flat and dry, with conditions getting better for batting as the game progresses. The match becomes even more crucial because India from here needs to win at least 3 matches for strong chances to secure a semis spot.
Team India is now all set to play its 4th encounter of the ongoing ICC Women's Cricket World Cup in the league stage group match. And here, as we know, that Australia is the 7-time World Cup winner, but Team India is also no less. In the recently concluded ODI series, Team India recorded the historic victory against the Aussies, beating them by 102 runs in New Chandigarh. Now, that was the same series in which Smriti Mandhana also hit 2 consecutive centuries and Kranti Gaur took very crucial wickets. Now, let's see how Team Australia is going to perform against Team India at the ACA VDCA International Cricket Stadium, where Team DD India is currently present, and we'll get you all the latest and live reports from here. With camera person Ashish, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Vizag.
India's national capital woke up to a spirit of fitness today. 20th edition of Delhi Half Marathon kicked off from Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. Thousands of runners, including elite athletes and amateurs, took to the streets of Delhi. The route passed through iconic landmarks like India Gate and Major Dhyan Chand Stadium. With cheers, energy and determination all round, Delhi truly ran together for a cause. Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel will be announced on Monday. The Nobel Prize in Economics honours groundbreaking contributions that shape how we understand markets, behaviour and policy, established in 1968 by Sweden's central bank for its 300th anniversary. The award recognises pioneers in the fields ranging from game theory and behavioral economics to poverty alleviation and financial stability. Though not part of Alfred Nobel's original will, it stands alongside the other Nobel Prizes as one of the most prestigious honours in the world of ideas. World Sloth Bear Day 2025 is being celebrated on Sunday, October 12th, across India and the world, with focus on conserving the vulnerable sloth bear native to Indian subcontinent. With the population under 20,000 due to habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict, the day highlights their ecological role in seed dispersal and termite control. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan this QR code on your screen and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Have a great day. Namaskar.